What's going on, my eaters? It's your boy, Chef Drew, a.k.a. Chef, a.k.a. Big Drew, a.k.a. We talking to Aaron again, y'all.
Okay.
So, listen, y'all, we're going to get into this interview with Aaron. Last time he was with us, you saw us smash down on some chicken and dumplings. He says they were fire. I didn't do better than great grandma, but I was close, y'all. I was kind of testing him to see what kind of dude he was. Was he gonna go for the gusto or was he a loyalist? He was a loyalist, y'all.
I'm a loyalist. I'm sorry.
He was a loyalist, so I'm cool with that. I'm a loyalist too.
No. If Nan's are a 9 or 10, yours were like a 9.9, man. You're right there.
I mean,
man.
me and Nan there. Maybe Nan taught me.
You and Nan could dance a couple of rounds. Okay.
So y'all, that's great. So we ate the chicken and dumplings, and now the real reason why Aaron is here, we're gonna talk some business, y'all, just get some insights. But before we do that, please, please, please like, subscribe, do all the things you need to do so we can keep bringing you this content, y'all. Here we go. So y'all, like I said, Aaron Wright, he's my business coach, buddy. I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit about his business. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. However, we've gotten to know each other pretty well over the last year, and I just feel like he's a guy worth talking to. So we just gonna forgive me, y'all. You know, I be using the notepad sometimes. One day we'll have prompters and things like that, so it could be more seamless. But the word says, despise not humble beginnings. So with these humble beginnings, I'm gonna use this notepad. Bear with me, okay? Tell my folks about yourself a little bit. Tell us not so much about business, but who you are, what you like.
Okay.
Just a little bit about you, man.
Very good. You quoted scripture a minute ago, so I'll start. My life verse is Romans 12:11. Do not be slothful in zeal, be fervent in spirit, serve the Lord. So essentially, get out there and hustle.
Yep.
We're all called for a purpose. We all have a mission and something to do, something to offer the world, somebody to serve. We're here to get out there and do it. Get out there and hustle. So that's, if you want to know who I am in about 30 seconds, that's it.
Yo, I gotta say, I did not know that about you.
I got it tattooed on my arm.
Do you really? But I testify, this dude be doing it, y'all. Like, I joke with him because I say, yeah, you do skinny people stuff because he always busy. I ain't skinny like him, y'all, so I be a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, strategic with my movement. Okay. But he be running and running, so what he's saying is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just came from the gym today.
Okay.
There you go.
Y'all, I ain't going to no gym on no Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So that just tell you already. I mean, really, I ain't been going to the gym on no days. We'll talk about that. That's another conversation.
Well, I have 3 kids that I know of. So you're, when they have nap time, then you get out there and you get what you got to get done when you don't got to be a dad. So that's what you got to do.
Got you. So I do that too. I got 2 kids though.
Okay.
But I ain't been going to the gym
so far.
So far.
Okay.
So far.
Okay. We'll get you in there.
We'll do that for sure. 2025.
There you go.
Okay. You told us your life verse. Got 3 kids. Are you married?
Yeah, I'm married right now, and I've got.
He said he married right now, y'all. So is that changing there? What's going on? Is a new one coming? What's
you
going
never
on?
know, man. You just never know. You got to be open to what life throws at you, man.
Wife, I know nothing about this. This is not scripted. Off script.
That's awesome. So live in Fayetteville. Okay. And I'm a business coach. Yep. So I spent most of my career in human resources.
Okay.
So as
you that guy? I
am that guy. So actually, my first job while I was still in college, I went and worked for Berkshire Hathaway. I wanted to be an HR manager.
Really?
Yeah, because I discovered that I really enjoyed coaching. I coached intramural flag football and softball and stuff, and worked a lot with my high school coaches playing baseball. And I loved coaching. That's what I wanted to be when I grew up. And but in college, from my perspective, where I was sitting, an HR manager was a lot like a coach because you're the one that's there to love and care for the employees of a business. All right,
What HR office he talking about, Joe?
No, that's what I thought, right? That's what I thought. And so I went to
Okay.
work for Berkshire Hathaway, work for a guy named Adam Logino at Carpet Tile Factory X in Cartersville, Georgia.
Okay.
And he was that kind of HR manager. So I was very blessed and fortunate to actually start off working for a guy that kind of saw HR the way I did.
Okay.
So went from there and worked my way up in terms of human resources, but eventually came to discover most of HR, corporate HR, is the perspective you shared, right? It's paperwork, it's legalese, it's a way for businesses to protect themselves from their employees as opposed to loving and caring for them.
Yeah.
So went to work as a consultant in HR, which then allowed me some more freedom to be able to do HR the way I wanted to do it. So was fortunate, got to work on consulting projects for Lockheed Martin and Boeing and Verizon and ADP.
He name dropping, y'all, just so you know. This is he verified.
Yeah, well. All that to say, those are companies that are doing it right? So I got to learn at the feet of the masters from some of the managers that are there. And so I am nowhere near smart enough to come up with what I do on my own. So I learn, we all stand on the shoulders of the giants that have come before us. So those are the shoulders that I'm standing on.
Y'all have heard me say before multiple times, surround yourself with the people who have what you want or who are doing what you want to do. So unprovoked, you're hearing it again.
Yeah.
Okay, so for a long time you're in corporate HR.
So now I'm a business coach.
And now you're a business coach.
Absolutely.
So why the transition from corporate to working for yourself?
Two reasons. And I'll be super transparent with you. So first reason is my kids. So I wanted to be able to spend more time with them. Previous job, I had to travel a lot, was gone a lot. So I wanted to be able to spend more time with my kids. So I'm really, really happy and blessed to be able to do that now.
Right.
The office where my partner Nate and I work from is about 5 minutes from my house.
Okay.
And it's a real blessing to be able to work with business owners every day on problems that are relevant to them, helping them grow and solve what's wrong with their businesses. So that's really rewarding. The other thing is actually a very personal journey. So a few years ago, I was diagnosed with advanced cancer. And so that put me in the hospital for a really long time, surgeries, months and months of chemotherapy, and working my way back from that. So I essentially started this journey in the business of being a business coach with my partner right as I was getting my all clear diagnosis from that journey. So I was given a 15% chance to live 2 years ago. And so worked my way all the way back up through that. And so now being given that kind of news, it changes your perspective a little bit. I like what you just shared, you become who you spend your time with. So I'm very fortunate the people that I've had the chance to spend time with have kind of guided me on the right path. But that diagnosis shook me up a little bit. So really, really wanted to be able to chart my own course and do my own thing. So I started this back in January. Nate and I started together, and so now kind of where I am now. So I also do a little bit of fitness coaching on the side. I've been doing that for a few years actually. So I've been doing Ironman triathlon and health and fitness. People always asking me, for advice and stuff, and so I always gave it to them. So then I finally sat down and put a real program together. So been doing that for a few years. Have some clients in different states and enjoying that too.
So you do virtual coaching?
Virtual and in person.
And in person. Okay. So I don't know, he said that rather humbly, y'all, but he just said 15% chance of living. Clearly,
I got to taste the chicken and dumplings today.
He got to taste the chicken and dumplings. So Aaron is a cancer survivor, which I didn't know, which leads me to another question. Like you said earlier, we can talk about in entrepreneurship, people often talk about like, you got to go and get it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You said, your life verse was like, go and get it.
Romans 12:11.
Romans 12:11. So let me ask you this. Fighting for your life and knowing what that perspective is, having that testimony, talk to me a little bit about what that does for your perspective on grit Something I've talked about a lot on this channel is just as an entrepreneur, or if you're thinking about pursuing entrepreneurship, the necessity to be able to dig deep when you don't feel like it, when it doesn't look like it. The necessity to be able to hold on when you feel like maybe even sometimes you don't have a choice or you don't want to hold on. Essentially grit. So give us some perspective on grit from your world.
Sure, yeah. My one of the men that I am very close with is my grandfather. My dad too, but my grandfather, the gentleman that adopted my dad when he was very young. And he said something to me a long time ago. He said, courage is shown when things are hard. Courage is shown when you're scared. Courage is shown when the chips are down. Right? It's not. You can say you're courageous, but when have you demonstrated it, right?
Right.
And so we are not the stories we tell about ourselves.
Right.
We are our actions. And so when you're given a diagnosis like that, when you go through all the stages of grief, right? You have the 5 stages of grief from anger and bargaining and all those. You go through all of those, but in the end, you're ultimately left with a choice.
Okay.
And you can either choose to be what you want everybody to think about yourself. You can, you have these ideals. I want to be courageous. I want to work hard. I want to be a leader. I want to beat this. I have things that I still want to do. You can either get out there and do it, even if it's hard, or not. So throughout chemo, I was training for a triathlon. I ran a triathlon while I was in chemo. And so it was a little dangerous. Probably hindsight shouldn't have done that because I cramped up in the water. It was in Chattanooga. So I cramped up in the water while I was swimming down the river trying to get out, and then almost was a sad day, but made it through. But it was just one of those things. Just like, what am I? My dad has always said, he laughs about this. He's always said he wants to learn how to play the guitar. It's been 30 years. He still really doesn't know how to play the guitar. So really, did he actually want to play the guitar? No, because if he really wanted it, he'd do it.
Right.
So you are where your actions meet the road. If I say that I'm a faithful person, am I really faithful, or do I just say I am?
Yeah.
I'm a hardworking person. Am I actually a hardworking person, or do I just say I am?
Right.
Am I an entrepreneur, or do I just say I am?
Yeah.
What do your actions say about you? Not what does the story you tell about yourself say? So when you're faced, I was put in a position, I didn't put myself in that position. I was put in a position where I just was forced to make a choice.
Right.
Fight or not, be what I said I was or not. Okay. And I was fortunate to have people around me that helped me make a good choice.
Right.
And so now I'm still here, which is awesome.
Yep.
So it's a blessing, and don't claim all of the credit there because my oncologist was amazing, family was amazing, friends were amazing, and I did not do it without support.
Right.
But ultimately, when it comes down to it, you're either going to do it or you're not.
So that's true. So let me ask you this, because you just said a whole bunch. Because a lot of times business, when you're bootstrapping and doing this thing, grassroots or not, business can feel like you're fighting for your life.
It does.
When on the hard days, during the hard times, what were some of the things that you looked to or that you told yourself to get through those bona fide hard moments?
I think you have to have a target. You have to know who you want to be when you grow up, right? Yeah. So when I talk to my daughter about this a lot, because she's almost 13, so she's learning how to make choices, and some days are harder than others. She gets picked on a little bit, little challenges that kids go through as they grow. And you have to have an idea of who you want to be when you grow up. What do you want to happen? You have to have a target. Yeah. And without a target, you can have all the grit in your heart you want, but you don't know where to go. You don't know how to demonstrate that grit. Yeah. You don't know how to take a step forward if you don't know where forward is. Yeah. So bringing it back to business, you have to have a goal. You have to know what you want to be when you grow up, when your business grows up.
Yeah.
And then you can start making progress forward. Then you can have purpose. Then you can start to measure the successes that you're having. If you don't know where your business is going to go, then you're a chef, you do a farmer's market one day and it goes okay. Then you do some prepackaged meals, and then you go do a corporate event, and then you go do a festival. I mean, you're doing all these things, but how do you know if you're making progress? Well, you got to know the kind of business you want to build.
Right.
And so when you go through hard times, if you have a target, if you have that Michael Jordan poster on your wall that you know every day I'm going to basketball practice and I'm going to shoot 3 throws until my fingers are bleeding because I know I want to be as the best that I can be at that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to build this business to be that, and I'm going to go make my fingers bleed until it gets there.
Right.
Without a purpose, you don't have anything to focus on, and without anything to focus on, it's really hard to get through those hard times.
Dope. I think you guys have heard me say before, and Aaron just reiterated it. There has to be something that is your why, like you said, your purpose, to hold on to in the dark. Something that you can hold on to when you don't see it. You know, like he said, if you want to be a hooper, you look at a Michael Jordan poster. For me, it's just freedom. When you are working a business day in and day out, or you're working a job day in and day out, a lot of times your time, your life is not your own. However, if you create a plan, for me, if I create a plan and work this plan, my poster on the wall is being able to have freedom for me and my family. I want time freedom. I want location freedom. I want financial freedom. And so on the hard days, when I don't see the money in the bank, when the sales aren't happening, when my books aren't done, inside joke, what I hold on to is the freedom that I want and the freedom that I know my family hasn't experienced yet. And that is what pushes me through the annoying times or what have you. You talked about your business. Go ahead.
I was just going to give you a compliment. I mean, going through cancer is a battle, right?
Yeah.
It's a dragon that I have to fight. That's my dragon to fight. I have clients who've lost kids. I have clients that have gone through bankruptcies. Have clients that have lost other dear loved ones. Have lost jobs. I mean, everybody has the dragons they fight. So I'm not special in that I had a dragon that I had to fight. Everybody does.
Right.
And so everybody has those, but it's the courage you demonstrate by being an entrepreneur, by pushing through those things, that you should allow grace for yourself. Don't beat yourself up too much. Just keep your eye on the prize. And you do a really good job of that.
I appreciate it.
You push through, you know what you want to become, you know who you are.
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoy having you as a friend and as somebody I get to work with every day, because you have the right mindset. If you have the right mindset, then you can start making progress.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, I took some lashes for that, just so you know. Like, real talk, just so you know, you're hearing a lot of the good stuff, and a lot of times we hear the good stuff.
Sure.
But for me to even have a business coach, y'all, for me to even, your boy had to go through some processes. Yeah. So hearing that accolade means a lot, because I had to go through some processes with this dude. I mean, I'm just saying. But, it is what it is. You get better and you get stronger, so I appreciate that. You touched on your business partner, Nate.
Yeah, he's great.
Nate's a great dude. I know him as well. Nate the Great. How, we've talked about partnerships and the type of businesses and things on the channel before. How did you and Nate meet? How did y'all come to be business partners?
Completely and totally by accident. So if you always keep your eye open for new opportunities, right? And let the people who are closest to you in your life know who you are and what your goals are, what you want to become. Yeah. Because they will help you along the way. And so me meeting Nate was a result of doing that. Right. So I actually knew Nate's wife for a lot longer than I've known Nate, because I do triathlon and have been for years and years. It's a hobby that I've kind of cultivated from going on triathlon trips with my grandfather from New Hampshire. So I'm just doing triathlons with his wife as a part of the same triathlon club. So it's kind of local, general, ran in the same circles. And then I happen to be very close friends with one of Nate's closest friends also. His name's Michael.
Okay.
And so between Tiffany, Nate's wife, and Michael, I kind of ancillarily knew Nate and met him a couple of times. And then started playing in the same poker group as Nate. And so then when I began being open to, I need to do something different. I need to make a change for my kids. Then Nate and I decided to have lunch, and kind of the rest is history. We both have the same passion for using the skills that we've learned on the shoulders of the giants that have come before us. We've got a lot of knowledge and experience there. So we want to be able to pass that along, to give that gift back. We all want to be of service. So we share that same heart. And because we share the same heart and the same kind of general business drive, that it makes sense. Right. So that's why we decided to start doing business together.
That's dope. Me and my business partners came along kind of, like you said, just out of the blue. Y'all have heard me talk about it a little bit before. So I say that to say and reiterate that, y'all, you don't know who is your guy or who is your person in business or in life. That's why it is very, very important to, just like Aaron said, talk to people, man. Let people know what you got going on, what you want to do. Yeah. And your partner, your financier, your breakthrough could literally be the guy in the sweatpants next to you. You just don't know. That's why we got to, talk.
Yeah. Have you ever heard, I think it's don't front? Like, don't put out into the world an image that isn't you.
Yeah.
Be honest with yourself. And if you're honest with yourself, you can put out an honest kind of picture of who you are, not the Facebook and Instagram version of you. Put out the real you to the real people in your life that are closest to you.
Yeah.
And just give them the opportunity, show them the respect, and allow them to be a blessing in your life. So just be yourself, and then just let them help you.
Right. Agreed. So one thing I wanted to ask you about, Aaron, there's been one or two times, y'all, I ain't lying, I don't front. I'm a very real individual.
You are.
So there's been a time or two where your personality and my personality have rubbed a little bit.
Sure.
And I've had to come to you and been like, yo, I didn't appreciate that, or I didn't like that, or whatever. And both times that I can think of that has happened, I think it's only been twice, but when it has happened.
So far.
It will happen again.
Yeah, sure.
Quite honestly, you impressed me, because the way you handled those conversations was unexpected to me. A lot of times as entrepreneurs, and this is why I wanted to ask this question, just trying to get things happen, people hire just people to hire them, or they get into partnerships or situations where maybe they were more emotionally driven, or for a time, but they end up going on longer than they need to. Can you talk about conflict and the ability to have the hard conversations, one, and two, give some nuggets about how to navigate those waters? I know what I think. I come from the standpoint, I believe, address it directly and address it quickly. That's typically what I do.
Sure.
What are your thoughts as a human resources guy? You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, to all of my clients that are watching, they've heard this before, but conflict can be resolved through two things: love and trust. It's just those two words right there. So you got to build love. You got to build trust. Yeah. Love, you can think of as like a bank. Yeah. You got to make enough deposits in order to be able to make withdrawals.
Right.
Sometimes conflict happens before you have the opportunity to make a lot of deposits. So through whatever conflict that comes up, you always have to make sure, people don't remember what you say. Yeah. They remember how you make them feel.
Right.
So when you're presented with an opportunity to demonstrate your love for somebody, aka a conflict scenario, a misunderstanding, whatever happened, an issue, that is an opportunity to demonstrate your heart. That is not I know we both have a mutual friend who's a manager at Chick-fil-A,
Mhm.
and that's what they talk about, right? It's every bad thing that happens is an opportunity to demonstrate your love for the person who's sitting across from you.
Right.
So you have to have that heart first and foremost. It's not a technique. It's not a word track that you can follow. There's no secret, mumbo jumbo or voodoo that will resolve a conflict.
Mhm.
The person who you're going to who want to resolve a conflict with has to know that you care about them.
Right.
They just have to know that. They have to
Right.
feel it. And the second piece is trust. And there are two kinds of trust. So the first is the trust most people think about, which is performative trust.
Uh-huh.
So you and I engage in multiple interactions, phone calls, chicken and dumpling tastings, gym sessions, networking groups, and you see me act and react and enact and then react, and you slowly are able to kind of generally predict my behaviors. And so you then trust I will be what you've seen me to be.
Right.
That's performative trust that
Yeah.
builds slowly over time.
Yeah.
The other kind of trust is vulnerability-based trust.
Yeah.
Those are two different things. And when someone is vulnerable with you
Mhm.
as to their heart, their mistakes, their passions, their fears, then the person who's being vulnerable is then allowing that other person,
Yeah.
the space to be vulnerable back.
Right.
So if you have those two things, love, which I genuinely love and care for each of my clients, and
Yeah.
if I don't, then I need to be chastised. I need to have somebody have a difficult conversation with me. But if I'm doing a real good job and loving and caring for my employees, my customers, my vendors, whoever, and then I am doing the work of a leader, which is being vulnerable with those people.
Yeah.
This is what I see. This is how I observed this behavior. This is what I'm looking at in your books. If I'm being fully vulnerable and transparent and hiding nothing, then I have the opportunity to really navigate a conflict.
Right.
And the way you navigate conflict is exactly how you did it.
Yeah.
If you first have love and trust, then you just go directly at it and be direct with the person you have conflict with.
Right.
Exactly like you did.
Yeah. So I would also say to add on to Aaron's point, y'all listen, conflict will happen. It's inevitable. We can never be so hoity-toity to not be able to receive or engage in critique. If someone comes to you humbly and respectfully in love and with grace to resolve an issue, y'all, no matter what the content, the subject matter is, or the content of the conversation, we have to position ourselves in a place of humility that allows us to receive and at the very least, listen. Because if you're not willing to listen and engage in dialogue, everything Aaron just said and what I would say is irrelevant. Please, y'all, don't be so proud that you can't hear someone say, hey, you hurt me. Listen, my business coach, he came, he chatted with us for a little bit. Hopefully, if you don't, then something's really, we got other issues, but hopefully you were able to glean something from his insights. Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. Please, please, please like, subscribe, do all the things to help us keep bringing you this content. And remember, Last Night's Coffee with Chuck and John on all podcasting platforms. Check out my homies, man. They got some great content, great guys. Until next time, y'all, we are gone.